Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, it's time for the PLE Event Center, where our host talks about the results from a WWE PLE event. And now here's the man to bring you all the results from the PLE event himself, Eric M. Lima.
Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode 2305 of the show. How's it going, everyone? I hope you guys are having a very blessed. Hope you all had a blessed day. Of course, I had a lot of fun live streaming and live reacting. Probably the most fun live streaming and reacting I've done in a long time with my good buddies, Brandon Martin and Jordy Scow. I want to give Jordy Scow a shout out before I know he has been, as you know, if you guys were on the live stream, watching the live stream of us for Worlds Collide, Jordan was doing a little bit of Spanish to respect and honor the culture of lucha libre. I want to give a shout out for that, and I'll tell you why. I thought it was going to be annoying. I thought he did to be annoying and funny and all that, but I look at it in a different way, of course, where he's educating himself, and that's, if you speak another language or try to practice speaking another language, you're educating yourself, and I think it's very important that, we try to appeal to more people out there. And I know the language could be very, very hard to do and everything else, but at the same time, I tried to learn Portuguese back in the day when I was getting homeschooled, and it was very, very difficult. I know a few Portuguese words here and there, but for Jordan to do that and, and learning to speak Spanish and all, and, he had to use Google Translate a couple of times. He did the Katsuyori Shibata gimmick, which I thought was hilariously funny, but instead, but he is trying, he's learning. And I forgot to give him a shout out for that. So, Jordan, good on you, man. Much respect to you for doing that. And I'm sure the people in Mexico and Spanish people would appreciate that. And, would appreciate that. So, but Jordan, he made it, his Spanish might be the best, but he made a great attempt at it, which is he made an effort to do it, and so much respect to Jordan for that. So I do appreciate sometimes he's a very sincere person when it comes to he's a wrestling fan. You learn a lot, so I'm just totally excited about that, what he did. I thought it was really cool, and he just say some funny stuff and everything else. You're like, what the heck is he saying? I interpret everything and everything else. Like, well, okay. So we had a lot of fun with Worlds Collide, though. I thought we had the most fun ever. It's fun, educational, at the same time. It's all in out fun and all in out greatness. So also, for another friendly reminder, if you do not want to be spoiled, please, when I say it's time to talk about Money in the Bank, stop the video, move on to another video, watch another one of my videos, and then, or stop my video, stop watching my video, go watch Money in the Bank, and you can come back here and hear my reaction to it. All right? So, it is time to talk about Money in the Bank. For those who don't want to get spoiled, get out. For those of you who already watched the event and want to know my reaction, well, stick around. Stick around, hang out. We're going to have some fun here. By the way, Red Sox beat the Yankees 10-7. Thank God that happened. Okay. Okay, so, anyways, a contestant from the Voice Season 5, Victor Solomon, sang the American National Anthem. And to kick off, Money in the Bank, the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. It consists of Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Naomi, Stephanie Vaquer versus Rhea Ripley and the lovely Julia. And while they were watching the matchup, the Triple H wrestlers were in attendance as El Hijo del Vikingo, who retained the Mega's title. Conan, along with Dr. Wagner Jr., Mr. Iguana and Psycho Clown. Everybody loves Mr. Iguana. You know, I hope we see a lot more of him. I like to see Mr. Iguana. I want to see some of the guys from AAA. Like I said, I like to see Survivor Series be a little different this year. Add the TNA guys. Add the AAA guys. Have some kind of like Survivor Series World Cup or something like that. Or you can mix and match and have them interact with other superstars from the WWE. Who knows? We can go back to the old school Survivor Series where teams can be named, like the Visionaries or the Perfect Team or the Dream Team or the $1 Million Team. Who knows? Anyways, so these 6 lovely ladies went at it. This is Stephanie Vaquer's second matchup. Remember, her first matchup was teaming up with Lola Vice against Dalise and Cheek Tormenta. And guess who won the Women's Money in the Bank? Naomi has officially won the Women's Money in the Bank. Huge opportunity for her. It's her first time winning it. So that means Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, they ever think about being SmackDown Women's Champ or Women's World Champ again, better watch their backs because Naomi is going to deal with them if that's the case. Well, Naomi will be lying away. Now, I picked Julia to win this matchup, but because she didn't win, she already had a planned out, and that would be her targeting Zelina Vega, the Women's United States Champion. And then the AAA stars who were in attendance, like I mentioned, watching the next matchup, which is a humongous matchup. This is the first time in a long time. Now I mentioned that that on the previous episode, I talked about the Intercontinental title being won by somebody outside the WWE, Lance Storm, who was employed by WCW at that time when WCW was bought by the WWE. Was the one, but then they had the whole alliance thing. I don't know if that should count or not, but whatever. So, because everybody was working within the WWE at that time. So that's why I'm trying to think here. As Dominic Mysterio was defending the Intercontinental title against Octagon Jr., who already wrestled at Worlds Collide. So just like technically Worlds Collide continuing on. But decided, well, let's make it at a bigger event, Money in the Bank. This was a huge deal. Liv Morgan gets involved during the match. And I thought one of the AAA guys would make sure that Liv Morgan stays out of the way. But in the end, Dominic Mysterio did retain the Intercontinental title. Is Dominic Mysterio going to go declare war on the Luchadors now? You know, is this a war that he started? Who knows? We'll find out for sure. I think he's got his own problems with the Judgment Day infighting between, especially Finn Balor and Liv Morgan. Chad Gable was talking to Creed Brothers. Says, "Hey, bring this ladder out there, and make sure you put it somewhere El Grande Americano." He said, "But let me know. Come, give me a break, Chad Gable. You're El Grande Americano. You're not dumb. Well, we're not dumb. We're not dumb. You can't fool me." All right, the Women's Intercontinental Championship is on the line. Lyra Valkyria, who held it since the beginning of the year, basically, defends it against Becky Lynch. But if Lyra loses the matchup, Becky Lynch, Lyra has to acknowledge Becky by lifting up her wrist in victory and put the Women's Intercontinental title around her waist. And this was a heck of a matchup. And finally, Becky Lynch is your new Women's Intercontinental Champion. And then she starts torturing Valkyria psychologically, lift up the wrist a couple of times, and put the title around her waist, but then Valkyria responds with a suplex and pounds Lynch after the match and walks off. Now, in attendance once again, it's Travis Barker and Courtney Kardashian, which the last time we had a Kardashian involved in a event, or would it be sitting in the audience or being part of the event, is when Kim Kardashian was interviewing Mr. Kennedy at WrestleMania back 2007, 2008. WrestleMania 23, I think she was involved in. But anyways, also in attendance was Danielle Fishel, a Boy Meets World, playing Topanga. Good thing the New Day was not there, but whatever. Now the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. This is where it went crazy. Seth Rollins versus Penta versus El Grande Americano, a.k.a. Chad Gable. Andrade, Solo Sikoa, and L.A. Knight. Now, everybody was beating the crap out of each other, pounding on each other and all that until everybody was laid out, and then Seth Rollins was like, telling Paul Heyman, got to get the guys out here, got to get them out here. Here comes Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Then they started attacking everybody in the matchup. And then Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo showed up, and they started cleaning house, laying everybody out. And then Sikoa felt like, okay, free ride up the free climb up the ladder. And as he was going for it, Jacob Fatu was looking around, thought, protecting Sikoa until he grabs Sikoa by the leg, pulls him down, and gives him a super kick. You see Solo Sikoa, all gas and no brains, huh? That's what you get for insulting and disrespecting Jacob Fatu. And Jacob Fatu walked down the matchup, but then after everybody was laid out, Seth Rollins has the easy climb. Seth Rollins, once again, he's now your 2-time Mr. Money in the Bank winner. Question now, a lot of people, I'm not happy that he won, but here's the thing. This could be a good thing. He could cash in on whoever wins the title, the World Heavyweight title, this coming Monday. If it's Gunther, could put Gunther over as a good guy. If it's Jey Uso, that target's more on his back got worse. And how about what if he decides, we'll go to SmackDown, I want to save wrestling, cash in on John Cena, but what if Logan Paul ends up going back and win the World Heavyweight title? Well, Seth Rollins cash in on him. So many options right now, so many things, so many pieces of the puzzle to that World Heavyweight title. Speaking of which, after Fatu snaps and puts Sikoa to a ladder, so giving Rollins the victory. And Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso against John Cena and Logan Paul. Of course, Logan Paul had his drone camera, and he likes to show off and all that, and he starts running his mouth. And there was one spot which I thought was the most insane spot. Logan Paul let the camera fly, and then summoned the camera while he was on the top rope. And as he was about to do a selfie and do a move, Cody Rhodes caught him, put a Spanish fly, and the camera went. Oh, it was the most insane thing I have ever seen, and ended up And the camera ended up flat on the mat. They got to be careful because those things are very expensive. And then John Cena decided to have both tables destroyed. And then as everybody was laid out, John Cena grabbed his title, and there was Cody Rhodes in the ring. John Cena hits Cody Rhodes with the belt once, and then with the belt again. And as he's about to go pin Cody Rhodes, a hooded figure came out and attacked John Cena. And I thought first it was Roman Reigns, and then I saw when the back of the sweater, the back of the hoodie was lifted up, there was black skin. So I thought that would be Obafemi at first, and that would be like that's how you make a huge impact. Or I thought it would be Moose from, speaking of Impact, Moose from TNA. I thought it would be him. Like that can take the whole storyline to a whole different level, like never before. But as he took everything up. I thought he'd be a member of Dark State too, like Shaquan Sugars and all that. Wanted to make an impact. Somebody from NXT. Who knows, right? If you go after Cena and try to beat him up, and you're like a rookie somewhat, you might end up going places. But when the person pulled out the hoodie and the mask, it was R-Truth. I thought he was released from the company. I thought the company released him. I thought he said all that. It looks like we all got and he looks serious too. He doesn't look like the goofy R-Truth and smiling, I'm back, and no, he glared at John Cena. Maybe it's like he's, they don't want the truth of the goofy truth. They want the serious R-Truth, the R-Truth that became an NWA World Heavyweight Champion back in NWA TNA twice. That could be it, and he attacked John Cena with such mercilessness. And I'm going. If I were Cena, I'd be looking in that situation, man. He is not happy, and I'll tell you one thing right now. I never thought R-Truth would come back, and he did. Fans wanted him. They got him, and I don't know if that's going to be like he's not under contract, what storyline is with him. All I know is we just got Mark Hendry'd by R-Truth. We just got okey-doked by R-Truth. Not okey-doked by little Jimmy. Okey-doked by R-Truth. Let me tell you, that's insane. That is insane. Unbelievable. Well, that is it for today's episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans 1977, episode 2305, Money in the Bank Event Center for Money in the Bank 2025 Event Center. We're going to find out what the heck's going to happen on Raw. And on Raw will take place, the King and the Queen of the Ring tournaments will happen. There will be, there will be, give me a second here, just if maybe he's messaging me, I'm going to start pounding on some people. Come on. My messenger is not working. It's buffering. I hate when people message me and I can't find the message because this sucks. Anyways, I'm about to get off here anyways, and I'm going to find out what the heck is going on. And yeah, working thinking that it was just yep. So yeah, I think Ron Kelling's. I think they're gonna go by his real name. So yeah, we got Okie doke, man. So we'll see what happens, man. Michael Lombardi asked what about Corey Graves and Conan on commentary. I thought it was really good. So on For Worlds Collide. So I'm really excited. So that's it. That's all the time there is, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed day. Like I said, don't know what's going to happen, but this money, like I said, I meant to talk about the King and the Queen ring tournaments. Here's how it's going to be played out. There'll be 4 fatal 4-way matches. 2 for the men and 2 for the women. 2 for the men, 2 for the women. And they'll be on both brands, okay? 2 Raw fatal 4-ways and 2 SmackDown fatal 4-ways for both sides. There'll be a double branded semifinals. And then there'll be a finals. Whoever wins the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments will get a shot at the top champion of their respective brand at SummerSlam. So, there could be a lot of murkiness in between the World Heavyweight title and the women's and the WWE Championship, as long as the undisputed WWE Women's Championship and the Women's World title. So, Io Sky and Tiffany Stratton and John Cena and Jey Uso better keep their heads on a swivel, because you don't know when and where. And plus now with Naomi and Seth Rollins as Money in the Bank briefcase, that adds a whole nother dimension of craziness. So we'll see what happens there. So, that's it for today's episode. And until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home.
That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and Do It for Bob Saget production, and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.